Oh, very good. That was wonderful. That's very good indeed. But now tell me, you're not really 6 years old, are you?
7. Almost 7.
Oh, almost 7. Okay. But, you know, boy, the way you play, I would have thought you were at least 10. No. Oh, at least, you play much better than I did when I was 7. And you're not even 7 yet. So that's very, very good. Now, maybe there's a couple things I'd like you to think about. When you play the first chord, right, it's a strong chord. You're quite right. It's forte. You want to open your music? Good to look at the music always. Okay, so it's a forte chord, but you know, it's only the beginning of the piece, right? So, wait a sec, I don't have a camera here, so I would have to, I think I can explain it to you. You play it with a lot of power. Really go. And you also just play, and you play a forte, a loud chord, but saying, this is a loud chord. And not, this is a loud chord. This is a loud chord. Okay. That would be one thought I would have, right? And now one more thing. You see, when you start, let me ask you a question. See if you can answer this question without looking at the music. Okay, it's a tricky question. How many different kinds of dynamics do you have? You know what dynamics means? It's loud and soft. Okay, we've got forte and we've got piano. Do we have any other ones, or are those the only two that he uses? Does he use mezzo forte? I don't. You know what? I don't think he does. Does he? I think he, as far as I remember, if I'm looking through, I think he only uses forte and piano. Right. So that means that. Do you think that means that forte is always the same amount of loudness, or could it be a little more, a little bit less, like this, or always exactly the same?
A little more.
I think you're right, exactly, and the same with piano, right? The same with piano, but forte and piano are basically different. And they're different also, not only in the loudness, but somewhat also in the character. Okay? Now, the words forte and piano, do you know what language they come from?
No.
They're not English words, actually. They come from Italian, the language they speak in Italy. Okay? And if you ask an Italian person, what does forte mean? The first thing they'll tell you is strong. Not even loud. It does mean loud. But for Italians, most Italians will say forte means strong. So think of it as being strong. It's not necessarily always got that much to do with loudness, although it will be louder than piano. Okay? Now, I'd like to see if you can play that first chord just like this. Can you just play it without being too forceful? Let's see. But still loud? I think that's better, yeah. And then it continues forte, doesn't it? And then, what happens then? Then it becomes piano. Right? So the character changes. It's as if I would say, Amelie, you played that really well. I'd like to tell you some things about it. See? It's a different character. Right? Now, could you start again and don't crash the first chord too much, but feel that there's a change between and then how it continues. A difference in the mood of it, the character. You know what character means? Character means like, is it wild, or is it gentle, or is it angry, or is it happy? That's the like mood, the mood of it, the character. That means kind of the same thing, right? Want to start one more time? Okay, right? Very good. Now, one thing, Emily, you have a fairly short part that is piano. And then it's forte again. Do you think it would be better to keep that piano part fairly all the time piano so that when the forte comes, it's a surprise? Or do you think the piano should be kind of louder and softer until the forte comes? Okay, let me say one thing, Amelie. Let me say one thing. There's not necessarily a right or wrong answer. It's not like arithmetic at school. It's not right or wrong. It's your opinion. It's how you feel it. If you're, pardon? Okay, I can hear you. I'll tell you what I think, and you can see if you agree. I think we should keep the piano fairly calm. And then comes the forte again. Okay? Rather than going. Because then you don't really feel that the forte is any different from what came before. Right? So see if you can keep. Forte! And then it's stays piano. Right? Okay. Want to try that? Can you start again? Good. And I would continue. You're very lovely. Very well done. Bravo. I would do. Okay, good. Very good. Can I stop you for a second? Very nice. Very good. Again, there's two ways of doing it. You could do this. See, kind of making a crescendo into the forte. Or you could do. Which one do you think is more fun? Just your opinion. You can say either one. You can't be wrong because it's just how you see it.
Crescendo.
Crescendo? Okay. You can make a crescendo. I'm going to tell you that I wouldn't. Because I think in this kind of music, especially in Beethoven, the contrast between piano and forte is very important. And if you heard me talking to the other young ladies who played Mozart, I was saying that in the piano sections, if you imagine an orchestra playing this sonata, have you ever thought about that? I always think about what it would sound like. Whatever I'm playing, I think about what it would be like if an orchestra would be playing it. Okay. And then, for instance, the whole orchestra would be playing this chord. Right? And quite a lot of people would be playing. And then less people would be playing. Right? And here, less people would be playing. And now they would all come. see, then more people would be playing it, and then it would be louder, right? When more people play, it gets louder. And in olden times, in the time of people like Bach, there was a lot of that kind of music when everybody played, and then just a few people played, and then everybody played, and then just a few people played. So if you can keep that. See, then it has a different kind of energy to it. Okay, so that's something you can think about that, or maybe your teacher can think about that. I'd like to hear if you could play for me. Can you play for me just the left hand? Those guys? Oh, that's good. Good. Okay. That's perfect. That's perfect. Try to play it with the same energy when you're playing with the left hand. I'm not sure that you were doing that. I'm not always hearing everything perfectly over Zoom, so I don't want to criticize something if it could be the transmission of the sound from Zoom. Okay, but could you play both hands from there? Okay. Now I have a question. Which hand is more important in that passage?
Right hand.
Well, the right hand is more important, yeah. But is the left hand also important, or is it not important? Well, it's still important. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there, right? You know, many people will play the right hand really important and the left hand so far. You probably can't even see it in the picture. Way down here that is not important at all. It's important. If it weren't important, maybe Beethoven would have written this. Did you hear what I played? I just played. If it weren't important, he could have written that, right? He would have saved ink. He had to use ink to write all those notes. Ink was expensive in those days, right? So if he wrote all those notes, it means they're important too. But you're right, they're not as important, of course, right? Now let's try that bit again and make sure that also the left hand is very active, okay? Can you start there? Good. Okay. Wonderful. Very good. You're also amazingly good at taking the suggestions that I make and thinking about them. Okay. Now, when you get here, how should the music continue? Should it continue in the same kind of mood, or is the mood now going to be completely different? It's going to be completely different. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Can you show me that? Can you start again at the same place and continue this time? Okay, good. Amelie, do you think you can make more difference? I'll tell you one thing. At the end of the forte, you got a bit quieter. You went. I would do the opposite. I would be forte right up until the end. Right? Very different mood. One person is kind of not angry, but quite loud. Okay, very good. Very good, Amelie. You know why I let you play on so long without stopping you? Can you guess why? Can you guess? I'll tell you why. Because it was so good, I didn't have anything to say. It was very lovely. Very, very good. Okay? Very good indeed. Okay? Now, would you like to go on from there? Okay, now stop you there. Very good. Very good. Okay. Now I have a question. How long does that forte stay after the chord? When does it turn to piano? Right away, doesn't it? So it's a complete change of mood right after that first chord. Right? And look what happens then. And again, you have forte, and right away it's piano again. So again, it's that more gentle kind of way of playing, right? And I'll say one more thing about this part. You had and then you had right now when you get louder in a passage, if you've got a passage and you get louder, what is the word that is in the music that is trying to get you to play louder? What word is that?
Crescendo.
It's crescendo. You're absolutely right. And it's usually written just as cresc, right? C-R-E-S-C, right? Okay. And where does the crescendo come in this passage? Can you play me the bar where the crescendo is written? Do you have a crescendo in that bar? You do? Okay. I don't. It actually says crescendo in your copy. Oh, how about that? Well, one of us has a funny copy. But Amelie, I was meaning later here. In that, is there a crescendo in this bar? I don't think so. I don't think so. How about in this bar? I don't think so. I think the crescendo is in this bar. Right? Am I right?
Yes.
I think I am. Yeah. So don't make the crescendo too early. Don't think, oh, I know the crescendo is coming in a couple bars. I'll do it now already. No. Try to do the opposite. When you see crescendo, Still hold back if you can. Okay, try to hold back and do the crescendo as late as you can. And there is then the fourth again, right? Right. Okay. Would you like to play that? Can you start from here? Would you start there? Okay, now watch. Okay. Let me get the music. I've got it here. I can let me see there. Okay. You see this bar? Listen, this bar is still quiet. And so is that bar. It's not. This is quiet. And we really feel. See, then we really feel that crescendo. Okay, so that's something that you can think about. I would work on that bit. Okay, and otherwise, well, all the rest of it is the same again. And you did all that. You did all that very well. As I say, I never played as well as you, even when I was 7. Not to mention 6. So you're doing tremendously well. You really are. I'm very, very pleased with how you're playing. Let me see. Would you like to play? Yeah. Could you start from there again one more time? Would you like to play for us from the second time? Very good. Bravo, Amelie. That was lovely. Very good. Well, thank you so much. And I hope to hear you again soon. Next time I hear you, I guess you'll probably be 7. No, probably. I think so. Or maybe even 8. But I hope I still get to hear you when you're 7. Because you're making tremendous progress, I can tell. And I'm sure you're gonna blow me away when you're 7. Okay. Well, thank you very much for playing today. I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed doing the competition too, of course. And hope to see you soon again. Bye.
Hi. Thank you so much, Amelie. Thank you so much, Professor Walter, and all the audiences in China. They stay up pretty late right now. It's already 11 o'clock in.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for your wonderful class, Walter. We really, really enjoyed them.
All right.
And for tomorrow, just a quick reminder, the time is slightly different. It will be 8 o'clock for us in Toronto students, 8 o'clock in the morning to start the lesson,
Ooh.
okay? And for Chinese students, it will be 8 o'clock in the evening. And then we will have 4 students tomorrow. And I look forward to see you guys tomorrow all. And Professor Walter, you have 2 more private students. So right now I'm
Right.
going to exit the Zoom and I will invite you again to the private room. Okay?
Okay.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
See you
All righty.
all tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.